They say mirrors don't lie, but that's only true during the day. At night, mirrors don't reflect you, they watch you. I learned that on a quiet night in Ohio, when I did something everyone warned me never to do. I looked at the mirror after midnight. At first, everything was normal. Same bedroom, same dim lamp, same tired face staring back at me. Then my reflection blinked. I hadn't. My heart started pounding as the reflection slowly smiled, a smile I never made. Its lips moved, whispering something I couldn't hear. Then I felt it, a warm breath, right behind my neck. And that's when I realized something terrifying. The mirror wasn't showing me my future. It was showing me how I was going to die. My name is Ethan Miller, and until that night, I never believed in warnings people couldn't explain. It was 12:47 a.m. when I stood alone in my bedroom, the house silent except for the low hum of the heater. My parents were asleep downstairs. No TV, no footsteps, no wind outside. Just silence, the kind that presses against your ears until your own breathing feels too loud. Across from my bed was the mirror, tall, old, framed in dark wood that had small cracks running through it like veins. It had been in this house longer than we had. My mom once told me it belonged to the previous owners, but no one knew where it originally came from. Earlier that evening, I remembered something my grandmother used to say. Never look into a mirror after midnight. That's when they can look back. I laughed at it back then. Now standing there in the dark, I wasn't laughing. I tried to ignore the mirror, but something pulled at me. A strange pressure in my chest, like the room itself wanted me to turn around. My body moved before my mind agreed. I faced it. At first, everything was normal. Same messy brown hair. Same dark circles under my eyes, same faded hoodie. I raised my hand slowly. The reflection raised its hand too. Relief washed over me until I noticed something wrong. The reflection's eyes were darker than mine, not just shadowed. Empty, like someone had turned off the light behind them. I leaned closer. "So get a grip," I whispered to myself. That's when the reflection blinked. I didn't. My stomach dropped. Before I could step back, the reflection tilted its head to the side, a sharp, unnatural angle that made my skin crawl. I felt my pulse in my throat. "No," I muttered. "No, no, no." The reflection smiled, not a friendly smile. It stretched too wide, pulling the corners of its mouth past where skin should allow. I felt a cold sweat break across my back. Then its lips moved. I couldn't hear the words, but I understood them. "You looked." I staggered backward, hitting the edge of my bed. The reflection stayed close to the glass, pressing its palm against the inside, as if the mirror were only a thin window. My phone buzzed suddenly on the nightstand, making me jump. A notification. Unknown contact, the message read, "Don't turn around." My blood froze. Before I could react, the bedroom light flickered once, twice, then went out completely. The mirror was no longer reflecting my room. It was reflecting someone standing behind me, breathing, slow, close, and I realized with absolute terror, the reflection wasn't trapped in the mirror anymore. I didn't turn around. Every instinct screamed at me to spin, to face whatever was standing behind me, but the message burned in my mind. Don't turn around. The air behind me felt thick, heavy, like something invisible was leaning closer with every breath I took. I could hear it now, slow, deliberate breathing that didn't match my own rhythm. In the darkness, the mirror faintly glowed. Even without the lights, I could still see it, and what I saw made my knees weaken. The reflection showed me, still standing in front of the mirror, but behind that version of me stood a tall shape, its face hidden in shadow. One long hand rested on the reflection's shoulder. I felt a pressure on my real shoulder, not fingers, claws. "Ethan," a voice whispered. It sounded like my own voice, but distorted, stretched, like it had crawled through broken glass before reaching my ears. My phone buzzed again. Another message from the unknown number. It can't touch you if you don't look at IT. My heart slammed against my ribs. I squeezed my eyes shut, holding my breath. The claws tightened. Pain shot through my shoulder, sharp and burning, but I didn't scream. The voice behind me laughed softly, a wet, choking sound that made my stomach twist. Too late, it whispered. Suddenly, the mirror cracked. A thin black line split down the center of the glass with a sharp snap. The sound echoed unnaturally loud, like the house itself had flinched. I opened my eyes. The reflection was wrong again. Now there were two of me. One was frozen in fear, eyes wide, lips trembling. The other was smiling. That smiling version slowly turned its head and looked straight at me, not through the mirror, but at me. I watched you every night, it said, its voice echoing inside my skull. You just never noticed. The pressure on my shoulder vanished. The breathing stopped. For one terrifying second, I thought it was gone. Then the mirror shattered. Glass exploded outward, slicing through the air. I threw my arms up, but none of the shards touched me. They stopped inches from my skin, floating, suspended as if time itself had paused. From inside the broken mirror, something began to crawl out, long limbs bent the wrong way, skin stretched too tightly over bone. Its face was my face, but hollowed out, eyes completely black, mouth split wide enough to tear. It stepped onto my bedroom floor. The glass fell to the ground all at once, clattering loudly. I stumbled backward, my heel catching the edge of the rug, and collapsed against the wall. You broke the rule, it said calmly. Now you belong to the night. The bedroom door creaked open on its own. Beyond it, the hallway was darker than it should have been, endless, like it didn't lead anywhere anymore. The thing that wore my face took a step toward me, and my phone buzzed one last time. You have one chance, run. I ran, not toward the door, away from the mirror. My body moved before my mind could catch up. I pushed off the wall and sprinted across the room, my feet slipping on broken glass that somehow didn't cut me. Behind me, I heard it move. Not footsteps scraping, like bone dragging across wood. I burst into the hallway. The moment I crossed the doorway, the air changed. It felt colder, heavier, like the house had sunk underwater. The hallway lights flickered weakly, casting long, twisted shadows that didn't match the shape of anything real. I glanced back. It was standing in my bedroom doorway, watching, smiling. Run faster, it said in my voice. I already know how this ends. I bolted down the hallway toward the stairs. The walls seemed to stretch, the floor pulling away beneath my feet, like the house didn't want me to escape. Family photos lined the walls, except the faces were wrong. Every photo showed me standing in different rooms of the house, me sleeping, me staring into mirrors. In one photo, something stood behind me. I didn't stop. I flew down the stairs, nearly tumbling over the last few steps. The living room was pitch black. The front door loomed ahead of me like a promise. My phone vibrated violently in my hand. Another message. Do not let IT see your face again. My breathing turned ragged. How? I whispered. The answer came immediately. Break every mirror. A loud crack echoed behind me. I turned just enough to see it at the top of the stairs, its body bending unnaturally to fit the space. Its head scraped the ceiling as it descended, joints popping with every step. There's no running from yourself, Ethan, it said softly. You invited me. I grabbed the lamp off the side table and hurled it at the hallway mirror near the stairs. The glass shattered. The creature screamed, not in pain and rage. The sound was deafening, layered with dozens of voices underneath, all whispering at once. The lights exploded overhead, plunging the house into complete darkness. I smashed another mirror, then another. Each one shattered with a violent crack, and each time the thing behind me staggered, its shape flickering like a broken image on a screen. But it didn't stop coming. I felt it close now, cold fingers brushing the back of my neck, its breath flooding my ears. "You can't break the first mirror," it whispered. "The one you looked into." The realization hit me like a punch to the chest. My bedroom. The original mirror. Before I could move, its hand clamped onto my shoulder and spun me around. I screamed. Its face was inches from mine, my face, twisted, smiling, eyes empty as a void. "Look at me," it commanded. I squeezed my eyes shut. The house shook violently. The walls groaned. Somewhere upstairs, glass cracked again. The creature shrieked, a sound filled with fury and desperation. "You don't get to look away," it snarled. Suddenly, everything went silent. Its grip loosened. I opened my eyes. The living room was empty. No creature, no sound. Only one thing remained. A mirror at the far end of the room, one I hadn't noticed before, clean, perfect, and reflecting someone standing behind me. I didn't breathe. The mirror at the end of the living room was wrong. Too clean, too perfect, like it didn't belong in the house at all. Its surface shimmered faintly, as if light was moving inside it instead of reflecting off it. Slowly, I raised my eyes. The reflection showed me standing there, frozen in terror, but behind me stood someone else. Not the thing from before. This one was taller, thinner, its limbs hung too long, like they'd been stretched. Its skin looked pale and cracked, as if it had dried out over centuries. Where its face should have been, there was only darkness, a hollow void that swallowed the light around it, and it wasn't smiling. It was waiting. My phone buzzed weakly in my hand. The screen cracked from when I dropped it earlier. One final message appeared. "This is the first one." My heart pounded. "The first what?" I whispered. The reflection answered. "The first mirror," it said in a voice that didn't echo. It crawled. "The first doorway." The thing behind me lifted one long finger and pointed at the mirror. "You looked at it willingly," it continued. "That made you visible." The room began to distort. The walls bent inward, breathing slowly, like ribs closing around a lung. The front door faded into darkness, stretching farther away with every second. I took a step back. The mirror pulled me forward. Not physically, mentally. My thoughts slowed, thickened, as memories I didn't recognize began flooding my mind. Other rooms, other houses, other people staring into mirrors at night. All of them screaming. "You can still choose," the voice said softly. "One of you must remain." The reflection of me in the mirror suddenly moved on its own. It stepped closer to the glass, pressing both palms against it from the inside. Its mouth opened. "Switch with me." "No," I whispered, tears burning my eyes. "I won't." The dark figure behind me leaned closer. I felt its presence pressing into my back, cold and crushing. "If you refuse," it said, "you will be taken." The mirror began to ripple like water. Hands pushed outward from the inside, stretching the surface, trying to break through. I understood then. The mirror didn't want to kill me. It wanted to replace me. I backed away slowly, shaking my head, fighting the pull. The thing behind me sighed. "Then the night will decide." The mirror flashed white. I felt myself falling, not forward, not backward, but through. And just before everything went black, I saw my reflection smiling in relief. I woke up choking. Cold air burned my lungs as I sucked in a desperate breath. My body slammed onto something hard, wooden floorboards. I rolled onto my side, coughing, my chest aching like I'd been underwater for too long. Silence, no whispers, no breathing behind me. I slowly pushed myself up. I was in my bedroom. Morning light leaked through the curtains. Birds chirped outside. Everything looked normal, too normal. My bed was untouched. The mirror stood against the wall, perfectly intact, its surface smooth and innocent. For a moment, relief washed over me. "It was a nightmare," I whispered. I staggered to my feet and approached the mirror carefully, heart pounding. My reflection stared back at me. Same face, Same eyes, I smiled weakly. The reflection smiled back, then it blinked. I hadn't. My smile faded. Behind the reflection, something moved. I froze as a shadow rose slowly behind him, tall, thin, faceless. Its hand rested on the reflection's shoulder, exactly like before. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. One final message. You made the wrong choice, my reflection spoke first. You didn't escape, it said calmly. You traded places, the room felt suddenly colder. The air thickened, pressing against my skin. I tried to step back, but my feet wouldn't move. What are you talking about? I whispered. The reflection leaned closer to the glass. You're on the wrong side now. The mirror surface rippled. My reflection raised its hand, and this time it didn't copy me. It reached out. Cold fingers burst through the glass, wrapping around my wrist. Pain exploded through my arm as the mirror cracked outward, spiderwebbing around its hand. I screamed and pulled back, but the grip tightened. Behind the reflection, I saw my bedroom again, my parents walking past the door, my life continuing without me. You looked, the reflection whispered. And someone always pays. With one violent yank, I was dragged forward. The glass swallowed me, the world inverted. Darkness wrapped around my body like ice water. I felt myself stretching, thinning, losing weight, losing warmth, then silence. I was standing, still, watching, from inside the mirror. Outside, my reflection, wearing my body, straightened its hoodie and smiled. It turned off the light and walked out of the room. The door closed, the room went dark. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. All I could do was watch and wait. Because tonight, someone else will look into the mirror. And I'll be right here, waiting for them,